first and foremost, congratulations to LAFC. And I wish them the best in the final. It's a very strong team, a very strong opponent, where you have to be almost perfect to get a result, and we've learned that now through the years. So again, good luck to them in the final, and congratulations to my players. Again, thank you for everything that they've given during this competition. Again, to get to the Final Four of the best teams in this continent is an achievement. It doesn't end the way that we wanted it to end, but at the same time, I think we pushed LAFC in our building, pushed them in the first half. Had a couple pretty good chances, and against a great team like them, you have to be clinical. You can't make mistakes, and you certainly can't play down a man because they'll punish you. All right. How you doing? Good.
You mentioned going down 10 men. You relied on Olivier really to handle Dennis Bouanga.
Yeah.
Once he came off, did it seem at that point it was just a bridge too far for you guys?
It's always going to be difficult at full strength, and I thought, we maybe picked up a silly first yellow card in that instance, and then, when you're on a yellow, you got to be smart when he's going to the sideline. So, look, Olivier did, in the first leg, I think the best job I've ever seen on Bouanga so far this season. So when you now lose him, it's going to be harder. And obviously a team like them, when they're up a man and the way they move the ball, it becomes very challenging. So my players still put a ton into it, created a couple half chances, even down a man, gave everything. But again, you have to be perfect. Can't concede on set pieces, things like that, to beat a good team like this in a high stakes game. So they're a great opponent for us. And again, we wish them luck in the final.
Hi, Jim. Celso Oliveira with Territorial MLS. Just curious on the finishing. What do you think of the finishing of your team so far, especially in the last couple of games? Do you feel that you had chances to win this game and this series?
Of course. Look, we created, in our building especially, we created a lot of chances. We have to be a little more ruthless in the final third. I think that's something that every team looks for. And in certain moments of seasons, you have a streak where everything hits the back of the net, and then you have an instance like this where we had some good looks. If you think back to the first leg, the one that Julian hits off the post, that in hindsight, if they would have VAR'd it would have been onside for a goal. Mikel got in behind a couple times, 1v1 with the goalkeeper in our building. Julian has almost a tap in. Even tonight, Danny gets open at the back post, and John McCarthy makes a good save. So those are the moments, and the margins are very, very thin when top teams get together and the stakes are high in a semifinal of the Champions League. And we just didn't get it done as a team.
And secondly, how much did you feel that you missed Martinez tonight? He's been instrumental against LAFC in the past.
He's a big game player, so obviously we missed him. But again, it's about 11 players. I thought when Murillo, as another example, when Murillo went out, I thought maybe that was an opportunity for us because he's such a great center back. I thought that if the game went longer, we maybe could test their back line a little bit in his absence, and we just weren't able to. So injuries are part of the game. Again, we win as a team, lose as a team, but yeah, certainly Jose was missed. I thought Leon stepped in as a 6 and did a great job for him. Leon Flock played an excellent game, but it wasn't enough on the night. And again, we all have to be better as a team, as a coaching staff, and as players in these big games. You can't have mistakes, and we had too many, and LA punished us.
Hey, Jim, just two quick ones. Last year after the Sounders won, Schmetzer said something along the lines like, MLS teams will be back in Concacaf Champions League finals.
Yeah.
And he gave props to all the coaches. Well, not all the coaches, but a lot of the coaches in
Yeah.
MLS. Talk about you guys just being able to get to this point, and then also, I know it might be hard to do this now, but what LAFC has been able to accomplish to get to their second one now.
Yeah, look, I have a ton of respect for what this club is all about here in LA. I have a ton of respect for what the union's about. Two good clubs, and obviously one of us was going to get to a final and represent MLS. And I think rivalries are healthy, so we have a rivalry between us and them. But now there's also a bigger rivalry, which is MLS versus League MX, and you're going to get a great final, regardless of whether it's Tigres or Leon, two special teams. So we know LAFC will represent our league very well. Of course, we wish it was us that was going there. But again, they deserve to win on the night. And again, it speaks to the growth of the league. You look at, I've said it before, you look at Steve's staff, you look at my staff, all of our assistants can be head coaches. So again, the game is growing in this country at a really, really quick rate. It's great that Seattle won it previously, and that now gives us confidence as a league. And again, I hope LAFC goes on and wins.
Final in-room questions? All right, we're going to go ahead with a couple on the Zoom.
Thanks, Erica. I've got some hands already, so give me 1 second to open the line for the first question. Let's do Jonathan Tannehill.
Thanks, Jonathan Tannehill of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Jim, you knew you had to score goals in this game.
Yeah.
And certainly the impression from afar was that you guys came out and played this game pretty conservatively. You ended the night with only 7 shots. Why so?
I don't think we were conservative. We played with 2 strikers like we always do. We had chances in the first half. We didn't score them. So again, look, the great thing about my team is we know when we're a favorite, we know when we're an underdog, and we know that we can, on any given night, beat anybody. So the way we approached the game was to try to score and win. Of course, when we don't score, questions like yours will come up, and that's natural. But to say that we didn't try to score is silly. If you look at the opponent, it's probably the best team you could argue in our league's history. So yes, they beat us. But when you are critical of my team, please have the caveat, we got beat by arguably the best team in our league's history.
Thanks, Sigla. And we'll go to Joe Tennessee.
Hey, Jim. What went through the balance of keeping the defensive shape once Bizo got off, but also trying to push for that away goal? How did you that all kind of play out in your head while it was going on in the moment?
Yeah, it's a tough scenario. Obviously, to score against them is hard as it is, and then to go down a man. We stabilized the defense, and initially we're in a 4-4-1. From there, we went into a version of a 4-3-2 where we could get Daniel a little bit higher to join Julian. And then when we made the sub for Quinn, got as many attackers as we could on the field, and it went to a version of a 4-2-1-2. So, we went for it. We got punished. When you're down a man here, you're not going to create a ton of chances. So the few ones that you get, a half chance with Nathan that had a shot at the top of the box, a little scramble where Daniel got on the end of one, and a couple restarts was all that they were going to give us. And we didn't get it done. Didn't get the goal that we needed. And again, credit to LAFC for moving on.
Matthew to George, go ahead.
Hey Jim, it seemed like LA forced you guys to pass square or backwards a lot in the midfield. How much of that do you think was something that they did tactically, and how much of that is not having Jose in the way that he likes to drive the ball forward and where he wins possession? What's that balance there?
Yeah, I think in our building, we were able to play forward a bit more. We were able to pass out of the back and be a little more direct. On the road, it's always a little more challenging. And again, they got numbers behind the ball. When they got the early-ish goal, they kind of let us have the ball a little bit and look to hit us on the counter, which they're incredible at. So, there were some moments where could we have played forward a little faster? Yes, I agree with that. And we were a little, not trusting the first thing we saw, maybe being a little too safe as the half went on. And then again, once the red card happens and you're playing 30 minutes down a man against that team, it's always going to be difficult. So sometimes some ideas go out the window at that point, and it becomes just about guys trying to, gut it out and try and get a result.
We'll do a couple more, Coach, if you don't mind. David Melandra, go ahead. David, go ahead. Do you have a question still? Okay. Actually, we'll go to Jonathan Siegel. Go ahead.
Hey Jim, Jonathan here from MLS Soccer.
Hi.
This is one of many competitions this year, and I'm curious how you view that looking big picture. I know it's going to sting tonight, but there's more opportunities and perhaps avoiding the letdown that we've seen physically CCL take a big toll on some clubs throughout this competition's history.
Yeah. Look, us and LAFC have now played the most games in our league by quite a wide stretch. It's taxing, it's demanding, but I'm sure if you talk to Steve and myself and our owners and at our clubs, these are the games we want to be a part of and we want to play in. So, yes, only one team can win a series like this, and it hurts. But at the same time, we're in and amongst the top teams on the continent. The best four are left. And this year we just didn't get it done. But, yeah, it certainly does take physically a big toll out of the players. Probably causes some points to be dropped, probably an injury or two. And the reality is we don't know what it's going to look like because this season does have even more competitions between Open Cup starting up now, also the Leagues Cup, and obviously regular season and then playoffs. It becomes highly demanding on these players, and you're seeing all teams pick up little injuries here and there. So, again, we want to get them healthy, recover as quick as possible, and avoid that letdown that you're talking about. I think we have a strong enough group to do that, but certainly pushing and trying to get to a final, it takes a lot out of these guys' legs, the travel, all those things that go along with it. But, again, we want to be part of these games, and we want our club to always be in Champions League.